There were a couple of times, and you might remember them. I'm going to bring you to one in particular where you made comments to the effect of the police just need to do their job. In other words, you made comments that gave the public the impression that you didn't think the police were doing as much as they could to deal with the situations in both Ottawa and elsewhere in the country. The Ottawa ones, I think you're familiar with, and we've heard a lot from the OPS and about their reaction to your comments. So let me just begin there. Did you have the impression that the Ottawa police were not doing as much as they could or should have, or perhaps as early as they should have, to deal with the situation that they encountered when the convoy arrived in Ottawa?
I think initially their response was incorrect. Was incorrect. I think, and based on the intelligence that they had, I think allowing those trucks into the downtown core to establish themselves and become essentially very large barricades, in hindsight, and I appreciate this is the clarity of my hindsight, but I believe that was a mistake. And I think they would acknowledge that it would be better had that not happened. But once that actually happened, they were dealing with what, in my experience, would be a unique set of circumstances, a uniquely challenging set of circumstances, which was extremely challenging. And in fairness to them, my concern and the statements I made, frankly, it was not my intention to criticize the police. It was to encourage them to utilize the tools that were available to them, because again, I've spent most of my life telling police officers to do their job. And I have every confidence in them. I'm very proud of my profession. I'm very proud of the men and women who do that work. And I was just trying to encourage them. We, as a society, needed the police because they're the only ones empowered to deal with these public order events, and we needed them to do what was required to bring it to a peaceful resolution. And I was simply commenting that we needed them to do that job.
Okay, and I'll ask the clerk. If I can read this, to call up SSM NSC CAN 403129. Minister Blair, this will be a text exchange between you and Zita Astravis, your Chief of Staff. And of course, you can see the words that caught our attention when your office sent the Commission this document among all the others, and that is your comment. The police are finally doing their job in Windsor, and we'll go on to the next paragraph in a second. But had it been your impression that the situation in Windsor was taking longer than it should have to resolve because the police were not doing their job?
And again, not something I would have ever said to the police, because I don't believe that would have been appropriate. But personally, I believe that the impact of the blockades at the Ambassador Bridge were being hugely impactful, not just economically, but auto plants were being shut down right across the province. There was a huge impact that was taking place. People were being laid off. They were being sent home. Factory floors were being idled, and I believe there was a sense of urgency to resolve that. I respect, the operational commanders. I wasn't second guessing them, certainly to them, but I was frankly relieved that they were, in my opinion, finally resolving that. I also had every expectation, as I indicate in that note, that they would do everything to avoid violence, that they would be measured and proportional and professional, because I know those guys, and I have every confidence in their work. But I was very much seized with a strong sense of urgency about the blockades at that particular location, because I believe that they had been so impactful.
And do you recollect any view you had about the liaison efforts? And we're looking now at the second paragraph where you say it appears they, presumably the police, Windsor Police Force and the OPP and RCMP who are acting here, it appears they didn't actually need to offer terms and concessions to the protesters. Can you explain what you were thinking there, if you remember?
I don't really recall, except, again, I was feeling a sense of relief that they were now clearing that bridge, because it did strike me as a matter of urgency, and previous tactics had not been effective in clearing the blockade.
Right.